In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd noticed strange stones protruding from a hillside in southeastern Turkey. What he'd stumbled upon would shatter everything we thought we knew about human civilization. These weren't just rocks, they were temples, built 11,600 years ago by people we believed were incapable of such engineering. People who supposedly lived in caves, hunted with crude tools, and knew nothing of architecture or organized society. But here's what keeps archaeologists awake at night. These stones were deliberately buried. Someone, thousands of years ago, made the conscious decision to entomb their greatest achievement beneath tons of earth. The question isn't just who built them, it's why they were hidden. To understand why this discovery is revolutionary, you need to know what archaeologists believed about 10,000 BCE. According to every textbook, humans were nomadic hunter-gatherers. Agriculture wouldn't be invented for another 1,000 years. Cities were millennia away. Civilization, as we defined it, didn't exist. Göbekli Tepe predates the pyramids by 7,000 years. It predates Stonehenge by 6,500 years. It predates pottery, metallurgy, writing, the wheel. Each pillar weighs up to 20 tons. Moving them required coordination, planning, and hundreds of workers, all from a society that wasn't supposed to have the social structure to accomplish any of this. Dr. Klaus Schmidt, the site's chief archaeologist until his death in 2014, called it the first temple. Not a dwelling, not a fortress, a place of worship, built by people who supposedly had nothing to worship except their next meal. Göbekli Tepe isn't alone. In the last 3 decades, we found something disturbing, a global network of ancient stone structures, all built by cultures with no contact, all constructed with precision that challenges modern engineering. Karahan Tepe, discovered just 35 kilometers from Göbekli Tepe, may be even older. The Yonaguni monument off Japan's coast shows geometric cuts inconsistent with natural erosion, submerged when sea levels rose 10,000 years ago. Poverty Point in Louisiana features massive earthworks dated to 1700 BCE, built by cultures with no written language. Then there's Baalbek. Beneath the Roman temple lies something older, foundation stones weighing 800 tons each. How were they moved? Modern cranes struggle with half that weight. The ancient builders left no records, no explanations, no blueprints. Someone knew something, and then that knowledge vanished. 12,800 years ago, Earth was in an ice age. Then, suddenly, temperatures plummeted further, a climate event called the Younger Dryas. For decades, scientists debated the cause. In 2007, researchers found the answer: microscopic diamonds and platinum, signatures of a cosmic impact. A fragmented comet struck the North American ice sheet, triggering megafloods, continental firestorms, and mass extinctions. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant sloths, gone. The sea level rose 400 feet as ice sheets melted. Coastal civilizations, if they existed, would have been obliterated. Look at Pillar 43, the vulture stone. It shows a scorpion, a vulture, geometric symbols. In 2017, researchers at the University of Edinburgh decoded it. It's not mythology. It's astronomy, a star map depicting the comet swarm's trajectory. The date encoded in the stone: 10,950 BCE, the exact date of the Younger Dryas impact. They were recording a catastrophe, a civilization-ending event they'd witnessed, and they wanted future generations to remember. Here's where it gets stranger. Around 8,000 BCE, 2,000 years after construction, the builders buried Göbekli Tepe. Not by accident, not through natural processes. They deliberately filled the entire complex with debris, creating the hill that hid it for 10,000 years. Why would anyone bury their greatest achievement? Dr. Schmidt believed it was ritual, a symbolic closure. But what if it was preservation? What if they knew something else was coming? The burial preserved the carvings perfectly, almost as if that was the intention, as if someone was creating a time capsule, a message to whoever survived the next catastrophe. In 1929, scholars discovered the Piri race map, created in 1513 but sourced from far older charts. It shows Antarctica's coastline, not as we see it today, buried under ice, but as it existed 10,000 years ago. The problem? Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, and it's been frozen for 34 million years. Unless it wasn't frozen 12,000 years ago. Unless, during a brief warming period following the Ice Age, a maritime civilization mapped the world, and that knowledge survived in fragments, copied and recopied through millennia. We found structures 120 feet underwater off the coast of India, dated to 9,500 BCE through artifact recovery. Geometric stone formations off Cuba at depths corresponding to the same time period. In 2001, the Indian government launched the National Institute of Ocean Technology to investigate, then went silent on their findings. Because what they found suggests the unthinkable, an advanced civilization predating ours by 10,000 years, wiped out by rising seas, preserved in stone monuments and myths we dismissed as primitive fantasy. Every ancient culture has a flood myth. The Sumerians called it the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Hebrews, Noah's Ark. The Hindu texts describe Manu and the Great Deluge. Mayans, Aztecs, Chinese, Aboriginal Australians, over 200 cultures, separated by oceans, all tell the same story. Advanced people, cataclysmic flood, civilization lost. We called these myths primitive explanations for natural phenomena. But what if they were memories? Oral histories passed down for 500 generations, distorted but preserving a core truth. Plato dated Atlantis' destruction to 9,600 BCE. We dismissed it as fiction, until archaeologists started finding advanced structures from exactly that period, submerged exactly where you'd expect if sea levels had risen 400 feet. The myths weren't warnings about the future. They were memories of the past. In 2019, the Comet Research Group confirmed the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis using platinum signatures in ice cores from Greenland. In 2020, archaeologists in Indonesia discovered cave paintings depicting the impact event. The evidence is no longer theoretical. It's geological, archaeological, astronomical. But here's what matters now. It happened before. It can happen again. The Taurid meteor stream, debris from the same comet that struck 12,800 years ago, still crosses Earth's orbit twice annually. We pass through its densest region every 3,000 years. We are approaching that crossing now. The ancient builders knew this. They encoded astronomical cycles into stone because stone survives fire, flood, and time. They were trying to tell us something. Stand here, among these stones, and you feel it, the weight of lost time. These pillars have outlived empires, religions, languages. The people who carved them saw stars we'll never see, survived catastrophes we can barely imagine, and built something that would endure long after their names were forgotten. They weren't primitive. They were us, with the same intelligence, creativity, and desperate hope that their knowledge might survive. They buried their temple not to hide it, but to preserve it. For us. For this moment when we'd finally understand. We are not the first civilization to reach for the stars. We may not be the last, but we are the first to uncover what came before, and to realize that forgetting is humanity's greatest danger. The secrets beneath the ancient stones aren't really secrets. They're lessons, carved in the only language guaranteed to survive, the language of stone, stars, and stubborn human hope. We've spent centuries looking forward, building higher, reaching farther. Perhaps it's time we look back, to learn from those who came before, who survived the unsurvivable, who left warnings we are only now learning to read. Because the stones remember. They always have.